Welcome to Season 2 of the Revenue Marketing Report powered by Caliber Mind. Our goal on the RMR is to help marketers move from subject matter experts to strategic business partners. I'm your host, Camela Thompson, and today I'm thrilled to introduce Denisse Soker. Denisse, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Camela, nice to be here. So I've been around 15 years in the marketing field, moving from agency to client side. And basically in the past almost 7 years, I've been focusing on B2B marketing, specifically for tech companies. And in the past couple of years, I worked for a startup as a head of marketing and now as a digital strategist. So very into the B2B digital marketing space. 31 years old and with a 3-year-old cutie pie. Actually, tomorrow is his birthday, by the way.
Oh, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
That's wonderful. So when we started talking, of course, when you have a busy little 3-year-old, that's going to come up into the conversation. So I think a lot of us can relate with re-examining our values and trying to figure out how to balance everything that we want to do versus what we need to do for work. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience kind of figuring out that balancing act?
Well, it was a journey. I think that it all started when I got to my maternity leave. And I think that in terms of the, adjusting to motherhood, I kind of felt comfortable right away. And, because there's two sides of it. But when it got to the point where I needed to go back to the workforce, it was a huge dilemma for me because I was, when I got out to my maternity leave, I was at a point where I kind of felt stuck, and I felt I needed a change and to get to the next level. But that's when, I don't know if reality kicks in or the society kicks in and everybody comes to tell you why do you need to change? Why do you need to kind of go to a new adventure and it's more comfortable and more stable to stay where you are. But so yeah, in terms of values, so that's kind of the first dilemma that you have if you're true to yourself and if you're ambitious and you want to keep moving. So you go and do that, or you do what's reasonable or what people tell you it's the best for your family. So I choose not to. I choose to stay true to myself and go for that, for that promotion and for that change. But that was another reality check that I had, because then I was on maternity leave looking for a job. Yeah, so that was pretty nerve-wracking process. But yeah, it is in terms of values and checking yourself. It's a very how can I say it? You need to focus on yourself and what's important to you all the time, and all the time doing that reality check. And okay, am I staying true to myself or what people are telling me? Because it's funny, once you get a mother, everyone gets an opinion about everything. So about your career as well.
And how you're parenting and everything you do with your kid. And yeah, it comes from everywhere. So did you know you were going to start looking when you went on maternity leave? Did you kind of start to have an inkling beforehand, or did it kind of come about through everything that was changing anyway?
So before going to my maternity leave, I kind of thought about it and say, okay, let's see how I will feel about it. Yeah. But before getting to my maternity leave, I felt I needed that for myself, and that didn't change during my maternity leave, and that was awesome. Because when you become a parent, you kind of feel you're becoming a whole new person, and it's important to kind of verify that you are still you or if you're just a mom. So So yeah, that was interesting to go through. And and then, going and looking for a job. So I think that was another reality check, and checking my boundaries, values, and what's important to me, because that was another reminder of the society telling me, okay, maybe you should do this as a mom, in terms of for example, questions that you get asked during interviews that are not very appropriate, or employers, that when you go and tell them, okay, so I need to go get my kid 2 times, 3 times a week. So all of a sudden it's not relevant. And, stuff that I didn't think I will have to even, think about beforehand. So yeah.
Okay. So I hope you've landed in a place that gives you that flexibility. Oh, good. Good. Okay. So it sounds like you really wanted to stay true to yourself and to achieve similar goals to what you set out with. Did you change your goals at all, or?
Yeah, so I think that from that perspective, when I went looking for a job, and this is something that I would change at the beginning, I kind of started from an assumption that this is what is acceptable, you know, and that kind of changed throughout the process when I, talk to people and talk to my loved ones, and they told me, you don't need to, accept what the market is telling you that should be the norm. You can create your own boundaries and your own norm, and that was another another, let's say, process that I went through in terms of getting back. Okay, so what kind of parent do I want to be, and how involved do I want to be? And then, setting my goals and setting my boundaries with a future employer, and then being very transparent about it from the start, so I don't go through long, interview processes for companies that are not suitable for me, And I think that was what set the tone for me to kind of find a place where, where I got that flexibility, and, I got to be the parent that I want to be, as well as the employee that I want to be.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about communicating those boundaries. Was it pretty clear in the interview process who was going to be receptive to the flexibility you needed and who wasn't?
Oh, I got to meet a lot of reactions from a lot of people, but at first, let's say that at first I wasn't certain or sure when or how to communicate those boundaries. So at the beginning, it took me time to kind of feel comfortable with them, because I was coming from a place where, okay, this is not what is usually acceptable. This is not what they expect me to do or be as an employer. So it took me time to kind of be very firm and certain with myself around those boundaries. But once it happened, in the processes, I kind of communicate them from I don't know, from the start, but I felt comfortable doing that throughout the process, at a place where I felt was the right place. And then it can help me out to filter, the companies and the places that weren't good for me. And I have to say, it sucked to find out. I got to go through interviews for amazing opportunities and amazing, companies, and then, finding out that we're not compatible because of that. And actually, we're not just compatible, that that companies actually filter out candidates because of that. So
I'm so horrified right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I mean, I got to an interview where they asked me, how do I feel? How do I think I will feel now that I'm a new mom and becoming, coming to a new job? If I think I'm ready for it. I don't know, questions that are not cool. And
No.
but yeah.
I just need to react for a minute and then we can move on. But that's so frustrating. So I think there's some real red flags with me with certain company cultures, and you're hitting on a lot of them. So first of all, that question was completely inappropriate. Whenever a company says that they're family and you should feel a part of their family, that's a red flag for me, because we have family. We don't fire our family. We don't hire our family. Sure. Our family is our family. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we choose our family, and that's great, but it's all aside. So company cultures that propose that their family really, to me, say they want you to prioritize them over everything else. Yeah. I don't think that's realistic with everything going on in the world. I think as we become more remote and we see everybody's life happening while we're on meetings with them, it's really clear that people's lives are messy and they need the flexibility to help take care of their family, their real family, not the work one that they say they get.
Yeah, 100%.
And then are you seeing any changes now? Was this before the pandemic hit and everybody went remote, or have you always been remote? Because I know you're located in Israel. Is that correct?
Yeah. So remote wasn't very common before the pandemic. So and that's definitely changing. And that was before the pandemic. So I definitely see that changing. See that shifting to a different place, and not just from company culture in terms of what you see on the interviews, but on the day-to-day. So So I started, on that company where I had a great flexibility. Today, I work from home only, but I work in an amazing place that it's not just about, it's about also allowing the employees to be transparent around their work-life balance. To the point that today I get to Zoom calls with a colleague, and he's a new dad, and he has his son on a carrier during the Zoom calls, and that's amazing for me, seeing that, and being able to be part of that. And overall, my whole department, they're all parents, and they all feel good and are open around sharing their parenthood challenges in terms of the pandemic challenges, but also day to day. I need to pick up my kid. My kid is sick, and this is also something that I didn't see before, like people being open, because when I got my first job, the only thing that I knew about parents, in the workplace, is that sometimes they go out to pick their kids. But besides that, I wasn't aware of, what it means or what people actually, how it interpreted on the day-to-day.
Excuse me. And then the chaos that the pandemic created with remote school and having to balance everything all at once. I just a whole lot of empathy is what I was feeling, because I just have dogs, and that's pretty easy to manage. So hats off to you.
Not that easy. You still have to take them out 2-3 times a day. I mean, I have a cat. It's easier.
Yeah, you may hear some yelling in a few minutes. I've got treats on hand just in case. It's just you learn how to deal with it. So do you see male parents getting the same questions asked of them? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the role of males in the basically the overall promotion of women in the workplace, I think it's huge. But I don't think. I mean, right now we're in the place where dads are being asked how they feel about being new dads, and how are they going to combine it now with a new position. But I think it really depends on the workplace where you are, and today, I mean, I want to say I was lucky, but I really wasn't because it was very intentional, from my side, finding the right places to work for. But I'm actually, it kind of irritates me that I had to, that it's not, common, that every workplace is this open, it is transparent to this point. And I think, by the way, one of the things that I think would promote a lot would be parental leave for fathers as well.
Yeah.
I think that this is something, by the way, that I'm seeing here and there in some places, but it's not commonly adopted at all. So, and I think there's something that will help, because then it will create kind of an equal status for men and women that are becoming new parents, and it will kind of, close the gap.
And so when I see this non-family, like the company's not being pushed as a family, it's open, it's transparent, it allows people flexibility. I'm not seeing a reduction in productivity or what people are willing to do. If anything, people seem more loyal. Are you seeing that too?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I think that that overall, by the way, as a parent, when you become a parent, we become a very efficient worker.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things that I had to do is kind of learn how to prioritize, because I was a very get shit done kind of person, cleaning box and all that stuff. And I had to get all the shit done. But now it's not like that. But what it allows me is actually see the bigger picture, see the bigger picture and see what really it's important and what isn't. And if I see something that it's not important, it doesn't, and I'm wasting time on it. So if it gets done, it doesn't promote me anywhere. And that basically that boosted my my state of mind as a strategist, and something that I do today, but it kind of changed me and improved me from that perspective. So I think that so I can work, I wouldn't say I can work less, but I can work more effectively, and even better than someone that it's not a veteran parent.
Yeah, it reminds me of that old saying, work smarter, not harder. And I think that's just so true. I think anybody in operations can relate to that. So thinking about culture and, as somebody who put in a ton of work hours, but always felt I was running on a hamster wheel because I didn't understand the company's strategy and it wasn't communicated with me. You're saying the word transparency a lot. And I think that's kind of the key in all of this. Do you believe that too? And how have you seen transparency play a huge role in making all of this work?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't know in terms of transparency from the culture or workplace. I don't have a lot about to say about it, but I think that from as people, I think that in society, I think that we should not feel ashamed to be open and share not our struggles, but even our day-to-day as parents. So I read a LinkedIn post from a colleague from the also in the marketing space, and she said, and I really related to that. And she said that when she picked up her kids, she just would put busy in her calendar because she felt that she needed to hide the fact that she's investing time in her kids. So, or if they were sick and she was staying, so she wouldn't kind of say they were sick, she would take her own sick days. Stuff that at the beginning of my, when I just came back from maternity leave, this is something that I that I really related to, and I think that that's the reason, by the way, that when I came when I became a parent, I didn't feel comfortable sharing that, because I saw that no one is doing that. Everyone is kind of hiding, and it's a taboo, and you have to be like the kick-ass employee and put work as the first priority as family. And I think that the importance of transparency comes not just from the workplace, but also from regular people that need to kind of be more open about their parenthood and their involvement in their family. So people like me feel more comfortable doing so, and not feeling kind of ashamed that we need to go pick our kids and do stuff that is required from us, as parents.
Oh, that's such a great point. Because I'm thinking back to like 15 years ago, I was taking the company had us all do personality surveys so we could figure out how we work best. And when we were talking about it, I don't know why, like I was new in my career. It didn't really occur to me, but they basically baldly stated that you can't really show any emotions because no one has the backstory for why you're feeling that way, and no one cares. Like they just want you to work. And it was just, but it really succinctly, I love your reaction, but it was really succinctly kind of put where our culture was at that point, which is we're kind of all expected to be robots and just churn out production. And I think and I hate that the pandemic happened, but if anything good is coming out of it, I think it's exposing more people to our humanity and forcing us all to be a little bit more transparent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that, I don't know, I mean, the pandemic definitely pushed that, kind of accelerated that, but it was a movement that already started before. And for example, I mean, I got during the pandemic, I got exposed to Brené Brown. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Yes, I love her.
I love her. Yeah, and her books and lectures. But I think I mean that's exactly the point. I mean, allowing people to feel vulnerable, and I think that nowadays people are feeling vulnerable, sharing their being as a parent, and that's okay, because I mean that's not okay. But let's say that this is the stage where we're at right now, and I think that if people would share more, it wouldn't feel, it would allow other people not to feel vulnerable when they do that. So yeah. So yeah, I think that from a workplace perspective, at least, I mean, I see it from my career point of view, that it kind of really started from performance robots, and then my parenthood kind of accelerated that process as well. But today I'm in a state at or a workplace where people are very open about it, and they feel okay sharing their kids are sick, they're picking them up, or they're doing stuff, and even sharing pictures of their kids. And I mean that's amazing. And I hope that, I don't know, I know that's where I'm at, but I hope that for other moms to be their experience as well, that this will become the norm for everyone.
Yes. Yeah. It should be already, but I think we're getting there. I hope. I see signs. Yeah. So what, if anything, would you go back and tell your past self as advice for this journey?
Wow. So I think that one of the things that really hit me, I mean, as I told you, I felt comfortable being a mom right away, but then when I started finding my place as a working mom, I became a little bit depressed, because I saw that I'm not getting the same opportunities. I'm not getting the same speed that I did. And I don't know if it would help me, but I will tell myself that is okay, to get the opportunities that fit you, and not just all the opportunities, to change the speed of your career growth to one that suits you as a person, and not just as a robot. I think that is something that took me a lot of time to kind of feel okay with, but and I would help myself to do that. But I think that it's a process I had to went through either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we have to see it to believe it, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm thinking in
Yeah.
the US in November, 4 million people quit their jobs. And
Whoa.
people, yeah, we call it the great resignation, but people, when they're faced with a major change in their life, like becoming a parent or
Hmm.
facing a pandemic or any number of things, they reevaluate their values and what they want to be doing in
Hmm.
their life and whether or not they feel comfortable where they are. I
Yeah.
think everybody kind of hit that point all at once because it's a global pandemic and we're seeing a ton of people quit. So, advice to employers out there that we would give is create a human environment where people can model behavior that's transparent and open, and they're allowed to be family members and take care of the people around them.
Hmm.
So, ugh.
Yeah.
It's hard
Very
out
tough.
there. I don't think employers should be making it harder.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it takes time,
Yeah.
to for people to learn and to adapt to the changes. And I mean, I know I did, and I think employers as well will have to go through this through this learning process in which they will hit the wall. That
Yeah.
they will not get quality employees, and they will need to reevaluate themselves. I believe it will happen to a lot of workplaces.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I'm seeing a huge shift in how interviews are taking place. It's less about the person proving what they can do and more about the company proving that they're a human place to work. So
yeah.
I think it's happening. I think the pandemic definitely forced it to happen much sooner. But
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, their top talent's going to leave and they're going to have a really hard time attracting new talent if they don't adapt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a great insight.
If I could leave upcoming mothers with a specific piece of advice, it would be not to give up. And I think that there is a lot of, as I said at the beginning, there's a lot of pressure from the environment to kind of settle, and I think that they shouldn't, and they should just find a
Absolutely.
way for them to make it work. And that's I think that's it.
No, it's great advice. So, where can people find you online to network?
I mean, you can DM me on LinkedIn. That's my go-to platform. I love LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn
Wonderful.
addict.
Wonderful. And on calibermind.com, we'll put a link to your profile so people can find you a little bit easier. And
Great.
just want to tell people who are watching the vlog or listening to the podcast, if you could tell a couple friends about it, if you're enjoying it, like, subscribe. These things actually do matter and help us get seen by other people. So we appreciate it. And for more great content like this, check out calibermind.com.